Security is a very important thing in any domain. It doesn't matter in which domain you are working, security is a constant concern for you. And if you are a specific developer, means a domain specific developer, then you must be thinking. And you must have heard of that it's a vertical threat, means it is getting applied onto different phases of any domain process. So when we are talking about so much security and the sort of security related things, even the Gartner report says that security is one of the top-notch concern as the coming future development in the specific technology era. So is it our duty to get to know all the sort of things which are related to security? Obviously, it is. But point is that there are so many different related aspects and the kind of things which are not possible to have a touch onto things in a single video. So that's why in this particular video, we are going to specifically talk about one specific attack, which is related to the obviously the security, and that is the adversarial attack. So here we have some sort of adversary, means adversary is a sort of some opponent or the kind of attacker. And here we are going to have the adversarial attack. And this particular attack is gonna sort of give you a kind of information which is going to be add on some sort of malicious information part in your data set. So ultimately the motive is to just add some malicious information just to make your model sort of a kind of misclassification model, or the sort of giving false positive or the false negative sort of things. So as you can see here, that the analytics in the page says that the adversarial attacks are those malicious attacks which may seem to be okay to the human eye, but causes the misclassification in the machine learning pipeline. So ultimately, any model, any machine learning or deep learning model works how it takes some sort of training and then it tests, means it gives the kind of real world classification or sort of thing. But suppose if your training itself is wrong or some sort of noise or something is there, then is it going to give you the kind of accuracy you are looking for? Obviously not. So that's why adversarial attack comes into picture. Now the point is that when people do talk about attacks, then most of the times the cybersecurity comes to mind. So that is quite obvious because it is related to it. But it is not always the case that every attack is related to cybersecurity. It might be getting applied to different sorts of domain. Now, point is that when we are discussing the sort of these things, so adversarial might be means the adversarial attack might be done with the help of different images or the sounds or different sorts of inputs, because the attack input might be in different forms. The only purpose is that that particular information or the input is not supposed to contribute to the actual cause of the particular work that you are doing. It is just trying to distort your work. So that's this whole sort of concept of attack is coming from. So that's why adversarial attack is saying that some adversary is trying to attack onto you, and that's the adversarial attack. Additionally, the kind of information or the input that is using or is being used to distort your work, that is the adversarial. Now the point is that many times we do think that what are the sort of things that we usually see. So in if we take an example of a neural network, then different sorts of misclassifications comes up, and that is because of the not of the sort of data that you have at your site. It might be different sort of reasons behind it, because for example you might be having the wrong training, or you have the overtrained or the undertrained data set. So overtrained or undertrained model. So all these things come into picture, and obviously the adversary tries to put their input into the sort of training part, because ultimately if your training goes wrong, everything goes wrong. So here we are going to start with this particular video having a basic introduction, and I have covered. So I'm not going into the kind of details, and you can go and have a sort of interested information if you are interested in. Then we are landing onto this particular page. This particular work is quite interesting work, and if you're interested, just land onto the archive.org, and there you are going to have the recurrent attention model. Recurrent attention model with a log polar mapping is robust against the adversarial attack. So they are saying that specifically the recurrent network models which people are using, if they have a sort of log polar mapping with it, then it becomes a quite robust tool against the adversarial network. And this particular thing they are demonstrating with the help of the sort of design techniques, as well as the defense against the SPS and the PGD adversarial attacks. So if you are interested, just go and have a check. Additionally, they have given the code also for experimental purposes at this particular URL. So if you are interested, you can just go and have a look on. So that is from the basic information from the related paper. Additionally, so many different papers are lying in the existing literature. If you're interested, just land on to Google Scholar or the ACM Digital Library. You'll find a lot more similar papers and the additional kind of practical hands-on related things. Then we have come on to some of the GitHub repositories. So here, that is one GitHub repository which is going to offer you the adversarial attack PyTorch related things. So here you can see that this particular library is gonna offer you the adversarial attacks to generate the adversarial examples, because many times it becomes a problem that you are having the coding sort of theory sort of information, even about the coding sort of things, but you don't have the actual hands-on. So that's why it becomes quite important that you have some hands-on examples. Then it becomes quite easy to just understand the basic things. So here you can see that they have given some of the related things. Additionally, they have given some of the basic information like the basic requisites as well as the things that you need to get started with the things. Then the sort of performance comparison, and then moving on to the things with specific sort of list of different versions as well as the papers which are coming out of this particular library implementation, which are given over here. Additionally, if you are using this particular library, you are ethically bound to give a sort of citation. So that is the citation information in the form of BibTeX. And they have given some recommended sites and the packages information also, including the adversarial attack packages and the defense report and the defense papers. So I think a very good coverage of the adversarial attacks is being given over here, including the hands-on, the kind of papers, the kind of ledger boards. Additionally, the kind of frameworks and the libraries, everything is gonna get covered over here. And most of all, that they have given the step-by-step information just to start with the basic hands-on. So that's all with this particular library. Moving further, we have another library which is gonna offer you the adversarial face attack related information. This particular library is the competition on adversarial attack and defense 2018 work, and this particular work is gonna be a sort of the format of the NITS CAD 2017. And when you are learning onto this particular repository, you are going to have some of the related results they have obtained. So here, just you can see that during the competition, as I told you, they participated. They successfully attacked the AWS to recognize the Changjiang Jiang as the Saljagnar, and this Saljagnar photo they have misclassified. So they have seen that just to recognize a particular person as some other person, and it becomes quite a difficult task. Similarly, they have given with respect to the President of America, and with respect to the Hillary Clinton, they have tried to identify it like this. So Hillary Clinton, as you know, that again, a famous politician, comparing a famous politician against another famous politician, it becomes a quite appealing task. And means why these sort of things are done, because many times the adversarial models are trying to just show up that yes, we can put in the fake information as an input, and your model might result you in the misclassification sort of thing. So that the sole purpose which they are trying to do over here. Doesn't matter whether they are trying to do the Changjiang Jiang as the Shawagjinger, and if they are going to have the another example with respect to the Hillary Clinton. So here, when you are coming on to down side, then you are having a lot more information like how to prepare the basic installation and ready to run the code. Then you can run the attack. Then the sort of disclaimers that is for research purposes only. All the related information, you are not supposed to do the actual attack. That's all the basic ethical declarations they are given over here. Specifically, if you are working in the security domain, it's your basic responsibility that not to misuse the information or the sort of things which are given by the authors or the tutorials. And if you do, then you are liable for your own cause. So that's from the second library. Moving on to the third library. So we have the another library which is quite good and popular in terms of the adversarial robustness toolbox. So this particular toolbox is going to offer you the sort of robustness which is coming with respect to the adversarial attack. So here we are going to have the information which is that this ART is a Python library for machine learning security, and it is hosted by Linux Foundation, Alien Foundation, which is based on the data. So the data foundation is coming in picture. Then the adversarial threats, they are covered, including the poisoning extraction and the inference system, and how specifically it happens, including the evasion, poisoning, and inference, and finally the extraction. So ultimately, the steps are interrelated. So whenever the ART is coming into picture, they are going to show you that with the help of red and blue teams, they have shown the sort of information that how the adversary is trying to put the sort of things, and how a particular adversary is trying to equate the sort of things out of your system. So the adversarial training is coming, and then the evaluation system is going to get impacted. All these things are given over here. Then moving down, they have given the sort of acknowledgement with respect to the specific material which is covered over here, because these materials are coming from the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, DARPA. And ultimately, they have given the sort of guidelines with respect to the installations, examples, notebooks, and the documentation with respect to attacks, defense estimations, and metrics, and the technical documentation. Finally, the contributing team related information and the roadmap and setting related information is also given over here. So hopefully all the related informations are given over here. Just to keep the video short, I'm going to conclude that don't ever try to misuse the kind of security related or the attack related information which are given just for the theory or the education point of view. Okay, because ultimately the thing you are going to do, it is going to leave its imprints in a digital world, and that might be sort of unhealthy for you in coming future. So that's all from my side with final warning, and hopefully you must have liked the video. If you didn't like anything, please do comment and let us know. Thanks for watching. Happy learning.